Hi Virgo, welcome and thanks for tuning into my channel, The Fool's Journey Tarot. You are watching a general love reading for the sign of Virgo for this upcoming week in October. Today is Friday the 2nd. So here we are, Virgo at the end of 2020. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a while since I've done a reading for you, so I'm going to shuffle these cards up and see what we've got for you for this coming week. I want to remind my viewers that this is a general love reading, and that means it can apply to any type of relationship, any type of situation or circumstance that you're dealing with. Basically, if you can think of it, it might apply. I also want to remind you to be flexible with the energy. You can interchange the roles of the characters within the reading regardless of gender. So you can be represented by any of the characters that shows up in the cards. This also means that you might feel like I'm reading for you, but you could potentially feel like you're cross-watching for somebody else. Parts of the reading may resonate, other parts may not, so take what does and leave behind the rest. My hope is that you gain something from this reading. I hope you enjoy it, but I also hope that it's valuable to you in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's confirming some feelings, or maybe you had some suspicions about something and it confirms those suspicions, or maybe you feel like you get some advice. Whatever the case may be, I hope it's helpful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Virgo, here we go. Let's see what we've got for Virgo. We're going to start off with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, paired with the Two of Swords in reverse, the Devil, Six of Wands, the High Priestess in reverse, Ace of Swords in reverse, the Page of Swords, and then the Ten of Swords in reverse. So I feel, Virgo, there might be some frustration surrounding a decision that was made, or maybe a decision that needs to be made. Could be in the past, or it could be something that you're dealing with in the present. You might be feeling like you've wasted your time, you've been spinning your wheels, maybe you feel like you put a lot of effort into it, and whatever decision's coming up is not what you had hoped for. It feels like there's an expectation for communication, or to express something or communicate something to other people. I feel like there is a deadline coming up, or some kind of expectation of communication that you might be dealing with, Virgo, where you feel obligated to make a decision or communicate something, even though I don't know that you're ready for it, or that you feel like you have enough clarity. But I feel like there's some kind of expectation, like there's this obligation. And it could be because of other people or another person. I don't feel like it's something that, for example, that you would choose on your own. In other words, setting a deadline for yourself, especially if you don't feel ready or clear on something, or you don't feel like you have the right information, that kind of thing. Let's get some more cards out for Virgo and see what else we get. We've got the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Queen of Cups in reverse. She's been in a lot of readings lately. Three of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the High Priestess again in reverse in the same set of cards. So it's here and it's here. I think you can see where they are. The Chariot in reverse. And then the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so I feel like I'm reading for the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups, I get the feeling that she's feeling threatened. Not threatened. She's feeling insecure or unsure, or there is some emotional element to how she's feeling about this decision that needs to be made or needs to be communicated. Or if it already has happened, there is this emotional reaction. It's not positive. It feels like it's making this person feel insecure or uncertain, or feeling attacked in some way. Maybe just feeling vulnerable. That could be it too. This person feels vulnerable with regard to whatever this decision is or communication that needs to be had. I feel like there's an expectation by others that there will be a certain level of communication. This could have to do with a workplace situation, or you could be working with other people. But it feels like there's an expectation by other people that there's some kind of communication that needs to be had or some kind of decision that needs to be made. It's not something that you are willfully participating in. It feels like you're obligated or you're expected to. There might be some kind of timeline, but I feel like there's an expectation of a decision or communication. I think that there is a need to take action again. There's some kind of action that needs to be made or an effort of communication. Even though this Queen of Cups feels vulnerable, because I don't think she has clarity. I don't think she feels comfortable with the position that she's in or the expectations that are upon her. I don't think she wants to do this, or I don't think she feels comfortable being in this position where she's expected to make a decision or communicate something. It does feel like it could pertain to a workplace or job situation. And I do get the feeling like this is something that she's either dealt with in the past or it's a reoccurring event. And something that she feels she's either failed at in the past, or she doesn't feel like she has ever quite what's the word I'm trying to think of? She hasn't met the expectations of others in the past, if this is a reoccurring event or reoccurring situation, or she hasn't met those expectations yet. Like, it could be something that she's working up toward. So for example, let's say this is a professional athlete, a gymnast or something of that nature, and she has several and this is totally, this is just a random hypothetical. It may not even match the actual message. It's just something that came into my mind. So if this is like a gymnast who's competing and she goes through these different stages of types of competitions. So she's at the local level, and then the regional, and then the state, and then the national, and then she's at the Olympics. But each time, maybe she meets the expectations. She's good enough to continue to move on, but maybe she's never quite attained like the gold, or she's never accomplished her personal best during those competitions. I feel like there's an expectation of that sort. She could either be working on making progress toward an end goal, or there's this repeated expectation where she's never felt like she's quite met the expectations of others. I hope that makes sense, Virgo. And I need to move on. Maybe I'm over explaining. Let's get some more cards out. So we have Strength, Seven of Wands, So I think this level of vulnerability for this person, for this Queen of Cups, has made her get to the point where she may feel like she's wanted to give up, or maybe wanted to stop trying. That could be where she's at right now, where she may think, okay, I'm being expected to make this decision or communicate something, but maybe what I need to communicate is that I'm ready just to throw in the towel, that I want to give this up, I don't want to do this anymore. It could be what's going on in the mind of this queen. Ace of Wands in reverse. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. The Sun. There's the Queen of Cups again. This time she's in the upright position. Eight of Swords in reverse. And then we have the King of Wands. Okay, so first of all, I think that this Queen of Cups has known intuitively how she's felt about the situation for a long period of time. I don't think this is new. I think there's been there's a sense of obligation that I think that she's hung on to. And I think at this point in time, it's occurred enough to the point where I think that she's ready to communicate that she's had enough. This could be a decision where she's going to communicate, I'm done. I'm not going to accept this level of responsibility. But I think she's known for a long time. But I think that her actions in the past or communication in the past has kept others from being clear about how she really feels about the situation. And that could be part of the reason why there's this expectation or obligation that she feels. She's facing another deadline or another point in this process where she's being expected again to communicate or make a decision of some sort. Again, I feel like there's this repeated expectation. This is a repeated event. So it's something she's experienced in the past. This King of Wands that showed up, I think is significant to this Queen of Cups in that I think that this is the person who might be, he might carry a heavy load with regard to setting the expectations for this Queen of Cups. This is the person that needs the message the most from this Queen. She needs to communicate very clearly to this person, because I think this person holds some kind of authority. So this could for example, given my gymnast hypothetical scenario, this could be a coach, right? So the coach is like, this particular competition is coming up. You need to be ready for this, this, and this, and we're shooting for this medal or whatever. This is the person that needs to receive the communication from this queen on a very clear and concise level. Because I think this queen knows what she wants, and what she wants is to let whatever this is go, because she's tired of feeling vulnerable. I have a hard time with that word, and I keep saying it. She's tired of feeling vulnerable, and she's tired of feeling not good enough. I think that's one of the biggest things too with this, is that I'm getting a sense of lack of self-worth with regard to the situation. These expectations or obligations are making this queen feel like she is not good enough. And that's not a comfortable place to be. If you can never quite be good enough, you can't quite ever attain that level of expectation that others have for you, why should other people be setting those expectations for you in the first place, right? Well, if it's a coach, I guess they do. If it's a boss, I guess they do. But if you're ultimately unhappy with those expectations or with your level of accomplishment, because you can never quite feel good enough, then maybe it's time to bring an end to whatever this Eight of Pentacles is for you. Whether it's a job, whether it is a, you know, something like being a professional athlete where you're always trying to one up yourself, you know, that kind of thing. If it's making you unhappy to the level I feel like this Queen of Cups is, then maybe it's time to let that thing go, or relieve yourself of it in the form that it currently is taking, if that makes sense. I mean, you can still enjoy something without being competitive, right? You can play the piano without performing at concerts or competing on a professional level or that kind of thing. So anyway, let's get some more cards out here. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, the Knight of Swords in reverse, Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Cups again, she's in reverse again, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Knight of Wands in reverse, King of Cups in reverse, and then we have the Eight of Wands. So I think this Queen of Cups is kind of, right now, she is hanging on for the sake of hanging on, but she has lost the passion, the motivation, the will. I think instead there's a level of fear that's set in, lack of emotional willingness, lack of clarity as to why she's hanging on to whatever this is for her. There is a definite need to change this energy, and that's going to come in the form of being honest with the people who are maintaining this certain level of expectation. I think that there are people surrounding this queen who have certain expectations for this queen, and she feels obligated. I don't think it is a healthy situation for this queen to be in, because it's not making her happy. But I think part of it is self-inflicted, because I think the fact that she hasn't been clear with her communication and how she actually feels about the situation is the reason why it's still continuing. Because she ultimately has control over whether or not this situation stays as is, or if she's able to make some changes. When she does communicate, and I feel like this Queen of Cups is going to communicate her desires, her wishes, and her decision, it's going to come as a surprise to whoever receives the information, because again, I think that she's kind of kept this to herself. So it's unexpected. I think that this King of Wands, I think he's good at what he does. King of Wands has natural leadership abilities. This is somebody who others look up to. This is somebody who's capable of making significant decisions, guiding other people, organizing other people, delegating responsibility. This is somebody who's large and in charge, but I think that there is part of the problem within this situation for this Queen of Cups is there might have been or maybe some emotional manipulation with regard to the situation. So I feel like this king, part of the reason there is a problem is because of the relationship between this king and queen. And it's possible that this person withholds emotions or is emotionally unavailable, or maybe is triggered easily by this queen and how she performs, or the expectation this king has. But I think that that's part of the problem within the situation, and part of probably what needs to be communicated is how this king's reactions and interactions toward this queen has affected her feelings regarding the situation and wanting to let it go, or wanting to at least change how this feels for her. And that could be in the form of maybe she hangs on to whatever this is. Maybe she doesn't let this job go or this opportunity go. I think she wants to, but if she decides not to, then the way I can't think of how I want to say this. How she proceeds forward with whatever this is for her has to be on her terms and not other people's terms. Does that make sense, Virgo? In other words, let's say she's a gymnast. She doesn't want to let the actual activity go or the sport go, but she does it on her terms. Maybe she only competes on a regional level. Maybe she only does it to stay in shape, or because she just enjoys it. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get this last round out for Virgo. Let's see if we can't come up with anything else. We have Temperance in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, Three of Cups in reverse, the Tower in reverse, Five of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles again, Nine of Wands, and then we have Death in reverse. So we have a King of Pentacles on the table. I think this represents this King of Wands too. I think this King of Wands, more than anything, feels like someone who is in this Queen's life. I'm trying to figure out the relationship between these two. It's a significant relationship for this King of Wands more than I think it is for this Queen of Cups. And by that I mean, I think that this person, this King of Wands, feels like somebody who is gaining something out of the connection with the Queen of Cups, but he's also reliant on what she has to offer. Let's use, I keep coming up with that whole coach scenario, but I want to use a different scenario. So let's say this is a manager of a singer. He may be managing her career, and maybe she benefits from that in some way. Right, Virgo? But he could potentially be gaining more out of the situation than she is, or he has more to lose if the connection were to be lost, because she still has her singing talent, right? So does she really need the manager? I suppose she does if she's going to tour the world and that kind of thing. If she decides that this particular career is not making her happy anymore, then does she really need a manager to manage that career that's not making her happy anymore? This King of Pentacles feels like this King of Wands, and the fact that he's in reverse to me could indicate, again, another imbalance. But there's a jet over my house, and I know you can hear it because it went over my house yesterday when I was recording. Couldn't believe how loud it was. Anyway, it's gone. I do feel like another piece of the puzzle why there is this imbalance for this Queen of Cups is the imbalance within this relationship, where it's more about what can I get out of this connection with this Queen of Cups more than what can I offer this Queen of Cups in return, or as, you know, an equal give and take. You know, I'm getting, even if it's not an intimate connection, if it is a connection where, you know, this is a manager, for example, or whatever, and they're working together, it still needs to be reciprocal, right? This Queen of Cups still needs to feel like there's an equal return on her own investment in the connection with this king. So what I feel is he's probably getting more out of the connection than she is. I do feel like there's other people involved. And I also do feel like this queen is not only living up to expectations that are external from her own, but I do feel like she is concerned about how other people will feel with regard to her making a decision, perhaps to change the way things are, or to end the way things are, or to give up something, for example. It would affect other people. So it also could potentially affect other people in a financial sense, especially with the 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, and 5 of Pentacles coming out here, and this Ace of Pentacles. The fact that she might take action to give this opportunity up, if it is lucrative, for example, maybe she's making money doing whatever she's doing, it could potentially leave other people in a bind. Does that make sense? So I don't think that this is just a decision this queen is making because she's unhappy herself. I think that she also has other people to consider, and that's probably why this decision is so difficult, or has been so difficult, or why she's questioning the decision. Again, I'm not sure if this is something that's happened in the past for you, Virgo, or something that you're dealing with right now, or possibly something you will be dealing with in the future. But that's what I've got. I feel like there's other people tied to this queen. And again, if she, you know, there's certain expectations. If she is someone who's involved in, let's say she's got a music career, she makes a lot of money, she could very well be supporting other people in her family, that kind of thing. So if she were to give something like this up, it would obviously affect other people to a certain extent. And I know, you know, most people are watching are not gymnasts and musicians or singers. I'm aware of that, but I'm just using those examples so you can kind of get a gist of how I'm picking up the story, and then you can apply it to your own situation. This could be much simpler than what I'm making it too. And I do feel too that this King of Wands, King of Cups, King of Pentacles, because I think he's represented by all the kings, and again, this could be a female. It's just the energy of the card. But this king is, to a certain extent, could be picking up that this queen is dissatisfied with the situation the way it is right now. Maybe the level of expectations or these obligations that she has. I think he potentially could be aware of it, and he could potentially be trying to influence her to keep moving forward with this, because it does benefit him. And again, he could be using tactics that are not so savory, like you know, emotional manipulation, or something of that nature. It could be a lot of pressure. It could be abusive in nature. It could look any number of ways, but I do believe that he is in the fight to keep things going the way they are, even though he potentially could know that it's not it's not satisfactory for this Queen of Cups. He may already know that. But he wants to keep things as is, I feel. So let's get a Dreams of Gaia Tarot card for Virgo and wrap this up. One card for Virgo. Is this one? That's two. I just want one. One card for Virgo. These cards are not very slippy slidey today. They're sticky. One card for Virgo. Let's see if I can't get anything else for you. I think too with the other people that are externally involved in the situation who aren't necessarily represented directly in this reading, but it does feel like there's other people involved, whether that's in the form of family or other people that you're close to. If you're this Queen of Cups, because again, I do feel like I'm reading for the Queen of Cups. So if you're this Queen of Cups, I feel like there's other people surrounding you who are dependent upon you or who work with you, and your decision absolutely affects everybody involved. So there is a certain level of not just obligation, but responsibility that is really weighing heavy, I feel like, on this Queen of Cups. I'm going to take this card. So we have the Youth. Interesting. This is one of the major arcana cards. It's, I don't think it really corresponds very well with any of the traditional Rider-Waite major arcana cards. This deck has a few extra, but even some of the ones, the major arcanas that are in here that would be associated with one in the Rider-Waite have different meanings or are more in depth with the meanings. So I'm going to read this. Also, the major arcana cards have past, present, and future. I am going to read the present because as I'm reading this first few lines of each of these sections, it feels like this is probably the one that will apply best to this reading. It's only about 3/4 of a page, so I'm going to display the card for you, Virgo, and then we'll read this and be done. Okay? So here we go. Are you bored with the routine of your life? Do you stare out the window dreaming of something different, of change and a new direction? Do you express this need for change only to be met with platitudes, told that if you focus on loving and appreciating what you already have, that you will be happy? Or are you reminded of what you might lose if you make a radical change to your life, choose to defy convention, or rebel against tradition? When you voice your need to do something more with your life, do people around you suddenly question their own importance, as if they should be held in higher regard than your own dreams and ambitions? Well, this is just like on the mark, isn't it? Understand that we are ever evolving and transforming beings. Sometimes we develop new interests because they are meant to steer us in a new direction, to change and transform our lives in every way so that we may grow to reach our fullest potential. Sometimes these interests create an awareness that we are meant to leave the life we have and explore unexplored realms of possibility and opportunity. The new interests reveal that those who have grown together are now meant to grow apart. If the youth appears in the present, he represents a necessity to address a desire for change within your life, and asks that you have the courage and determination to make your choice without allowing others to discourage or steer you in a direction of their choosing. If you do not put your own interests first, the potential for great unhappiness and conflict will increase. You have dreamed for long enough. Now is the time to act, even if it means leaving behind all that is safe and familiar. I'm telling you what, could I have sat there and picked a card that fit best for this reading better than this card? I don't think so. I don't know if that sentence made sense. Anyway, you knew what I meant. I'm quite astounded at that card. I'm very happy with this card coming out at the end of the reading because I don't feel like I have to say any more. I think it really ended nicely, and I think the Queen, if you're out there and you're listening to this reading, I think it's going to resonate very significant for you, and I think you already know this. I think you've known this for a long time. I think you've known that you're ready to make a big move and take a completely different direction in your life, and it'll be for your good. Not for everybody else's, but for your good. So I'm going to leave that here, Virgo. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. I hope that you benefited from it in some way. Thanks so much for watching. If it did resonate, please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to. I always love that. I appreciate you joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Virgo.